good morning, investor and corporate. Welcome to SET Digital Roadshow third quarter 2022 performance review. This section will run about 45 minutes, including Q&A. Company will start the section by 30-minute presentation, followed by 15-minute Q&A. And during Q&A, investor may leave your question in meeting room chat box or use raise your hand function. We will open your microphone so you can ask the questions to the company directly. So may I now invite SCG Packaging Public Company Limited to start the presentation, please. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Kap. We are very happy to meet with all the investor again in Digital Day hosted by SET. So today for the company, we have two presenters. The first one would be Kunanadet Gesuwan, our CFO, and also myself, Vikon from the IR team. Perhaps we can start with a quick recap in terms of our third quarter performance, and also later on we can go through the Q&A after the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. So let me start the first part of today by giving a short executive summary. First of all, some good news for SCGP. The fact is that we received two prestigious awards from the Stock Exchange of Thailand in two categories. One is in the business excellence, in which we received the award of Best Innovative Company, and that is from our nano-cellulose technology for the packaging paper. The second one is on sustainability excellence, in which this year we received the highest one, which is the Best Sustainability Award. And there's only two companies on the set for this category, and we are one of them. And this is already the second year that we received the sustainability award. Last year we received a Rising Star. So this only show our commitment on innovation and also on the sustainability. So next would be on the business highlight. For today, we still work on to update you on the four pillars. One is on growth, which is on M&P and organic expansion. In the third quarter, we have two companies joining us. One is Pertain in the Netherlands. The other one is Jordan Inc., which is the both of them are on recycling material. And then that would add and strengthen our network of recovered material sourcing. The second pillar is on the innovation, which we describe this one as the Despack, which is a spin-off startup for online food service packaging, and they have received some good funding. The third one on sustainability, we also want to announce to you that as of today, our ranking in terms of S&P Global is actually the highest score for the global container and packaging. And the last one is on the operational excellence and synergies. We have used alternative energy portion at a high level of 30.5%. So next will be on the consolidated financials. Just as a recap for our 9 month, our revenue from sales reached 112 billion baht, and that's up 26% year on year for the same period, mainly from the business expansion. Our core EBITDA slightly dropped, and that's mainly on the cost, whether raw materials or energy costs. And the net profit also dropped in the same manner from cost, as well as some additional depreciation and amortization from the business expansion. So our net profit stands at about 5.35 billion for the 9 month period. So next is on the portfolio. We have our portfolio of revenue. In this one on the left-hand side would be by business unit, and as you can see, our integrated packaging business is still the biggest portion at 82%. But if you look at the one that we used to say downstream, which is meaning they are closer to the customer, closer to the consumer, and that consists of polymer packaging and fiber packaging. The total now is 37%. The growth mainly comes from the polymer packaging that you see on the light blue color, and now is 12% of the revenue portion. Another part is on the recycling business, which is actually revenue from Pertain and Jordan, and that's only joined us in the third quarter. So right now they represent 2%, and which will be expanding in the future. On the right-hand side, if you look at the markets that we earn our income from, you can see that our ASEAN revenue excluding Thailand is now 41%, which is actually the same as the Thailand portion. So that's actually see this growth from our investment in more or less the majority one is Indonesia and Vietnam. We also have EU and UK for about 4% for the total of 9 months, and the export is about 14%. So that's roughly our revenue breakdown. So next will be on the key issues for the third quarter and the current situation. If you look at the macro environment, the key factor that has an implication for our business and our industry would be on the China economy, and mainly the exhibit in the third quarter quite weak demand for mainly packaging paper, and that's from three main reasons. One is there's a drought situation in the south, so that actually impact the production because of the energy that is come from hydro is limited. So the government asked the private sector or some manufacturing facilities to sort of slow down the operations. The second one, as we all know, is on the production downtime due to lockdown, as well as the consumer spending, which is less when they have this rotating lockdown of the cities to contain COVID. The third one would be on the prolonged property crisis that is still going on. However, there's some macro factor that is favorable. One is on the freight, which the freight rate already declined globally. So that's actually sort of normalization of the supply chain. So that actually benefit us. Also, another factor is on the hyperinflation and the interest rate that is rising. So that has implication on the consumer disposable income and impact demand quite directly. And the last one is on the climate change, in which there's some supply chain disruption due to weather. And we can see this pattern in the future also going forward. So the key macro are these four, but we have also our internal efforts to sort of mitigate this and strategize how we operate during this period. The first one is on how we do the cash management and also capital expenditure or investment management. We continue to stick to M&P as a priority because it will provide us with the growth path as well as the earning EBITDA more immediately. The second one is on portfolio optimization. We seek for new markets, diversification of our markets to new growth areas such as India, Middle East. That's what we did and will continue to do. The third one will be on enhancing innovation and solutions. We provide more solution, more innovative products, and that's evidence from our R&D budget, which is about 3.3% of our total revenue in the 9 months. And lastly is on the ESG, in which we continue to work and progress toward the milestone that we commit. One is on having a recyclable, reusable, and compostable packaging 100% in 2025, and also to reduce GHG emission by 20% by 2030, and we have progress along that path as well. So that's the summary on the first part. Next will be on the business review. So I'll ask Khun Wikon to explain.
Okay, thank you, Kap. So if you look at the page here is the financial performance of SCGP during the third quarter this year. And if you start from the revenue, you will see that the year-on-year the revenue increased around 19%. It was flat Q-on-Q. The reason of the increase year-on-year would be, first one would be from the M&P that we did during the last 12 months. Majority of that would be in the integrated packaging business, Duitan, Intan, Delta, right? And also in the third quarter, we had complete the M&P in international recycling business in the Netherlands and in the US, in which I will have more detail for you later on. So for the flat revenue Q-on-Q, even though, as we mentioned, that we managed to add 2 M&P company in the recycling business in this quarter, but of course, if we look at the overall demand of packaging during the third quarter comparing to the second quarter this year, we see that the increase in terms of the inflations and also interest rate started to affect the disposable income of the end consumer, and hence overall demand of the packaging is dropped Q-on-Q. Moving on to the core EBITDA, we registered around almost 5.1 billion Thai baht EBITDA in the third quarter. Year-on-year increase of around 9%, mainly would be from the business expansion, whereas the Q1Q would be a drop around 8%. That was mainly due to the decline in terms of the sales volume that is aligned with the drop in terms of the overall consumer product and also the packaging demand, as I mentioned earlier. In the core profit, we registered around 1.5 billion in the last quarter, more or less flat year-on-year, and Q1Q dropped around 21%, which is in line with also the drop in terms of the EBITDA. If we look at the net profit of around 1.8 million Thai baht, which is flat Q1Q, this is including the extraordinary item from the FX gain that related to the intercompany loan, mainly the portion that we used to make investment in M&P, and also with the adjustment in terms of the earn-out provisions that related to the Intan deal in the third quarter. Next, okay. So going to the detail of integrated packaging business, the revenue increase was 7% year-on-year with two main reasons. The first one, of course, would be from M&P, the three deal that I mentioned earlier. And another factor would be the product price adjustment to be aligned with the increase in terms of the cost increase in terms of the energies and also the raw materials. Revenue Q1Q dropped around 8%. If we go through the detail of each specific sub-business unit, polymer packaging Q1Q, the sales declined mainly from the weaker demand in terms of durable goods and certain export to the US EU market. But the positive factor was from the consumer packaging demand, which is as preparation of the year-end festivities, all these brand owners start to prepare their product and also order more packaging during this period of time. For fiber packaging or boxes, the revenues increased slightly Q1Q, mainly from the overall price adjustment. For packaging paper, revenue dropped, mainly related to the factor that Khun had mentioned earlier about China, in which is weaker demand in China also directly affect the weaker export volume of the packaging paper producer in these regions. For us, we try to do risk mitigation and also try to think about how we can diversify the customer network going forward. So we managed to add in the new customer in the fast-growing market, for example, in India, Bangladesh, and also in the Middle East to improve our operation in packaging papers. In terms of EBITDA, year-on-year, we increased around 9%, mainly due to the improvement in terms of performance of polymer packaging and also fiber packaging. M&P in the last year also helped. For year Q1Q is increased slightly 1%. But if we exclude the adjustment of earn-out in both in the second quarter in Intan and also in the third quarter in Intan, the EBITDA Q1Q actually dropped. Okay. But if we look at the cost factor, energy cost, of course, everybody knows that it's continued to be at a heightened level with the ongoing conflict that we see in Europe, right? But in terms of the raw material cost, especially in RCP recovered paper, and also the freight rate, is the two factor started to decline since the mid of this year, and also at this quarter, and we perceive that also can see the trend that it will continue in the decline trajectory going forward and to the beginning of next year as well. Next will be the fibrous business. This year is actually a very good year for fibrous business, especially for pulp, with the prolonged high trend in terms of the pulp price since the start of this year as an effect from the sanction that we see in one of the big pulp producer in Europe, in Russia, right? So the pulp price market has been in terms of the prices at the high level since the first quarter. Another factor that benefit the fibrous business in terms of revenue would be the improvement for us as the addition of the food service packaging capacity of another 25% that we finished in the first and second quarter this year in the product of pulp mold and press board. So we managed to increase the revenue on that particular business. Q1Q revenue was flat with the detail as follow. The food service packaging, we can still see the improvement that was driven by the reopening of the countries, tourism coming back. Demand of the food service packaging in Southeast Asia is actually improved, especially in the segment of QSR, quick service restaurant. For paper, the sales revenue dropped Q1Q slightly with the weaker demand during the low season, the rainy season. The pulp, of course, the main effect would be from the weaker demand in China, in which we usually export the dissolving pulp sales to that market. So the revenue in terms of the pulp was declined Q1Q. EBITDA, of course, 30% year-on-year improvement, mainly from the with the reopening of the country, people coming back to the office, coming back to the school. So the demand and sales volume of paper has been improved on a year-on-year basis. And the Q1Q 6% improvement would be mainly from the decline in freight rate that helped benefit our operation for food service packaging, in which we have the production base in Vietnam, Thailand. We ship product to Europe, US, and also in the UK. And along with the extended high price of pulp also in this market. Next would be our balance sheet. If you look at on the left-hand side, our balance sheet is still rather healthy. The cash under our management is around 10 billion Thai baht with the IBD of around 51 billion, increase of around 4 billion from the second quarter, mainly from the investment activity that we did. Gearing ratio still at the good level, at around 2 times net debt to EBITDA, 0.6 times DE ratio, in which is the level in which we believe that we can still continue to grow with our investment with business expansion going forward. For the CapEx on the right-hand side, this year we estimate that the total CapEx for the 2022 will be around 16 billion Thai baht, consists of 3.5 billion Thai baht in terms of the maintenance, ESG, regular CapEx in terms of R&D, and the rest would be for the growth CapEx. But of course, when we met with the investor in the first half this year, we mentioned that CapEx would be around 20 billion, right? So the decrease of around 4 billion Thai baht would be mainly from two reasons. The first one would be the timing of our completion of M&P, in which we see that it is most likely that we will be gearing toward the completion in the beginning of next year instead of this year. The second one would be the fact that we have an extension of the commercial startup target for our investment in the VKPC line number 3, a packaging paper complex in the northern part of Vietnam for another year, to extend to 2025, right? So that also affect our CapEx. This extension is actually aligned with what we see in terms of the market situation and also industry situation, demand supply, and also the outlook for the 2-3 years going forward. Next, for this page, the CapEx plan for next year, we still plan to use the CapEx range of around 20 billion Thai baht for next year, 2023. In terms of business update, just to give you an update of the M&P in international recycling business. So last quarter, we talked about the M&P in Perth as number one. We are recycling players in the Netherlands. So in September this year, we managed to complete another M&P in a company called Jordan. The name is Jordan, but they are actually based in upstate New York. And they are one of the international trader of recovered paper. So with the addition of these two companies, it's helped improve our synergy in terms of operation of the recycling business on 4 categories. On the right-hand side, you can see here the first one would be the improvement of global sourcing network of all these recovered materials, both in terms of suppliers and also buyers as well, in Europe, US, and Asia. The second one would be the fact that we can improve the recycling operation standard. One of the factor would be we can learn and see the best practice that Perth they use in one of the most advanced country in recycling operation in the Netherlands, and we can leverage that to improve our operation in Southeast Asia also. The third one would be the strengthen of the security supply of RCP that we use on an annual basis of around 4.4 million tonnage per year in our packaging paper productions. And the last one would be the opportunity to increase or improve the efficiency of the transportation, especially from the backhaul of container and freight operations from US, EU, and also from the export that we do out of ASEAN. As we talk about synergies, I would like to give you a quick update of the total synergy that we can see from the last 9 M&P that we did since the 2019. And as you know, normally we have the PPMI, pre and post merger integration plan, that allow us to identify the area of synergy since the start of due diligence process of our M&P. And we have the regular ongoing monitoring and also discussion process on a monthly basis of how we can capture all these synergies. The main type of synergy will be separated into 3 areas on the left-hand side here. The first one would be in terms of revenue synergies, all this cross-selling, customer network enhancement from the incoming companies. Second one would be operational synergy. Majority of that would be from the co-sourcing of raw materials, financial cost restructure. And also the last one would be a best practice sharing know-how in terms of the best practice of technologies, productions, management, right? So all in all, in terms of the internal calculation, we believe that we can capture around 1 billion Thai baht of synergy out of all these 9 M&P deals per year. This is not including the cross-selling portion that we already include in the packaging solution revenue that we report every now and then. The last one from synergy would be a good example that we have in Vietnam. As you know, after the IPO, we managed to increase or double the size of our revenue with 3 M&Ps in Gopak, in Sovi, and in Duy Tan in 2021, right? So the area of synergy in this particular country is actually quite huge. First one would be in terms of cross-selling. As you know, we can cross-sell several of the plastic container of Duy Tan to the network of the customer of Gopak that we have in the US and also vice versa. And with other existing operation in Batico and Sovi as well, we can cross-sell to the incoming multinational customer network of Duy Tan that we add to our portfolio. Of course, when we add the fiber packaging operation into our operation, the new one, so in Sovi, we can increase the consumer link revenue proportion from 68 to 80% as customer network of Sovi are mainly focused in F&B, FMCG, and industry. And with the addition of the facility side, we can do the optimization and calculate what would be the best logistic route that we can serve the customer better with more location that we can serve from. And also with the incoming expansion and also the additional capacity of the box business, we can increase the integration level with our packaging paper operation of Vina Craft from 30 to 52% last year. Okay, next I will hand this over to Khun Dhanajay.
Yes, so those are the growth M&Ps and synergies that Khun talked about. So let me just touch on a little bit on the innovation solution and the ESG aspects. I mentioned already the DeskPack, which is the online food service packaging. They successfully raised a Series A funding, and that will be used to enlarge their distribution channel as well as the customer network. Right now, they have more than 5,000 customers across Thailand. Those are the people who are doing the food service and food business. So in this platform, they can customize and order all the food packaging all in the online platform. The second one is on the expansion of the healthcare and labware. We do M&P with the Delta Lab a while back, and we intend to expand the market in this region. So that's why we partner up with 3 local distributors in Thailand to try to market this product of Delta Lab, and hopefully we can enlarge it until the point that we might be able to consider setting up a facility in this region in the future. The last item would be on ESG, which in addition to the set awards that I mentioned earlier on, we also have received as of today the assessment of DJSI from S&P Global that we are the highest score in all categories. We have achieved the highest score in both in terms of E and S and G. So that put us to the number one in the global container and packaging. That's a very big achievement, considering last year we participate voluntarily. So this year would be just the first year that we participate officially. Next will be on outlook. If we look at our internal efforts, we need to continue on our operation excellence in this time, and also try to realize the benefits from the synergies that we can do from our various investments, including all the M&P companies, while we also continue to do good M&Ps going forward, being more prudent in terms of cash management and also in terms of capital expenditure and all the investments, and expand the products and outreach of the market into more new growth areas such as India, South Asia, and also Africa. Externally, we continue to see energy costs to remain on a high level, but the good news is that on other costs such as raw materials and the freight has actually gradually softened already. The interest rate will remain high, so as the inflation, and this will have an impact on the demand due to the consumer spending power. But the key one for us, which is for our packaging paper part, more particular, is on the situation of weak demand in China, which we need to continue to monitor. Anyway, the ASEAN economy is expected to recover gradually from the openings of the country's more business activities as well as more tourists. So to wrap up, for us, we're still progressing toward the target of 150 billion Thai baht in terms of top line this year, continuing on the three key pillars, which is on growth through M&P, solutions and innovation. That's the second one. And the last one is on the sustainability and ESG. So that's conclude our presentation, and the remaining time will be for questions. Thank you.
Okay. I guess so. We would like to thank all the funds and investors to join this virtual event, and also to the Stock Exchange of Thailand to host our digital roadshow on a quarterly basis as well. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next quarter. Thank you, Krab.
So on behalf of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, I would like to thank you, investor and corporate, for joining the conference. We look forward to welcome you all again in the next quarter. Thank you very much and have a good day. ขอบคุณนะคะท่านผู้บริหาร
ขอบคุณครับ สวัส
Thank
ดี
you.
ครับ